Today is Saturday, July 19th. That's crazy. We're already more than halfway through July. It's less than 1 month before school starts, which is also crazy. I guess that means that we're more than halfway through summer, and before you know it, it's gonna be fall and then winter. Oddly enough, we are already getting ready for fall in the greenhouses and our production greenhouses. So maybe if we have time here in a minute, we can go back there and take a look, because we live in the future here at Smith's Garden Town, at least in our production facility. If you don't know, we are what's called a grower retailer. So that means that what you see when you come to Smith's is the retail part of the business, but on the same property, back behind our retail greenhouses, we have what we call production greenhouses. So those production greenhouses are where we grow most of the plants that you see out here. So we grow all of our annuals and perennials, or most of the annuals and perennials that we sell. We grow a lot of the veggies that we sell. We grow some of the house plants and foliage plants that you'll see in our tropical greenhouse, like the ferns. Some of the other things are grown here. And then we also grow a few shrubs, a select group of fruit trees and shrubs and roses and hydrangeas. So we're a grower retailer, all on the same property. There's not a lot of us like that out there anymore. Typically, garden centers either don't grow any plants at all. They just buy everything in from wholesalers, which we do that also. You know, especially trees and shrubs are one of the things that we buy in from regional wholesalers. But other garden centers either don't grow their own plants, or they have a grow facility, but it's off-site somewhere else outside of the city, whatever it is. So we're kind of unique and blessed to have our production facility, our grow site is right back there on the same property. So it's kind of nice. We grow plants, put them on carts, bring them straight out to the front to our retail area. No need to put them in sleeves or boxes or put them on trucks. They just go from the back to the front. Got some cats around me right now. Sylvester and Petunia get the crazy look in their eyes. Callie, she's waiting on somebody to give her treats. Oh. Cat, they're playing. Okay. All right. So, yeah, it's if the reason I was talking about the production is we have, like I said, our production facility and our employees that work back there, they live in the future. So they are anywhere from 2 months to 6 months in the future, always getting ready for the next crop. So hopefully we have time in a minute. We can go back there and check on the mums, which are going to be our fall production, obviously. But also this week, if you missed our video that we posted last night, we have already planted our first poinsettias for Christmas. So even though it's July, some of the poinsettias that we sell are, you know, the smaller ones, but we also sell some great big poinsettias. Luis's Fun Days wants a shout out. Okay. From YouTube. I don't know what your channel's about, but I said your name, so that counts as a shout out. But anyway, our larger poinsettias take a longer time to get to that size, so we start those about 6 months before Christmas. And 5 months, is my math right? It's July, August, September, November, August, September, October, November, December. 5 months. So we start our poinsettias 5 months before Christmas, because we're going to be selling them in November. Mid to late November is when they'll start turning color and looking good. So yeah, we'll be growing those out for the next 4 months. I just got back from Ohio. Now we're gonna go look in the greenhouses here in a minute, but I wanted to tell you about my trip to Ohio. I love Ohio. I go there every summer. I've been for the past 5 summers, I think, because we have our largest industry trade show for the green industry, for garden centers, for are we on Facebook too? I'm usually seeing Facebook comments roll in, but I'm not seeing them right now. So if you're watching on Facebook, I'm seeing YouTube comments come through, but if you're watching on Facebook, say hi, so that way I know you're there. But anyway, just got back from Ohio. Huge conference, and it's a trade show. They have breakout sessions where they talk about greenhouse growing techniques, things like that. So I went up there with my daughter this year. Okay, good. I'm glad to see the Facebook comments rolling in. And good morning to all of you that are watching on Facebook and YouTube. Hope you have your coffee. So this year was really fun because this was the first year I got to actually speak and teach breakout sessions at Cultivate. So that was a big honor for me to be able to go up there and teach some classes. Talked about succession planning for greenhouses, moving from one generation to the next. And then got to talk about social media and teach other social media managers, garden center owners about social media. Hello, now the comments are pouring in from Facebook. Good morning to everybody there. And so that was super fun. I actually taught 4 sessions at Cultivate this year. I got some really good feedback. I actually am a weirdo because I love public speaking and teaching. Well, actually, that might not surprise you because I get on video all the time and do things like this. And a lot of you get nervous, I know, about getting on camera or getting in front of people. And yes, our cats are gardening experts. So yeah, it was really fun to get up there and talk to our industry peers, and people really enjoyed the topics that we taught on, and it was fun. It was a good show. Made some really nice connections. Got to bring my daughter along for the first time to Cultivate, and her first solo business trip with me. We will be posting a day in the life video from the show. We've already posted my favorite new varieties that we found at the show. So if you missed that video, it's really fun because that's one of the things we do at Cultivate is they've got this huge area inside the trade show room that just has the newest and greatest varieties of annuals and perennials and houseplants. And so we get to go look at those. So I posted a video to show you that and to show you my favorite new varieties that I found at Cultivate 25 this year. Now, before we go walk out there, we are about to go into the greenhouses. I will remind you, it's getting hot. It feels really nice outside right now, so if you need to go get some gardening done this morning, it's a nice breeze out. It's not too hot yet. Mosquito. But so you can get some gardening done this morning. And remember, you got to water your plants now. We are in summertime, so please go water your plants, especially if they are plants that have only been planted either this year or in the previous year or two that are not fully established yet. It's time to be watering those plants. Now, your established landscape shrubs, your established trees are still rocking and rolling on all the rain we got this spring, but it's been a couple weeks. Well, yeah, it's been a couple weeks since we got a good rain, so now's the time. I'm starting to see the ground drying out in certain areas. Make sure that you are getting water to those plants. Let's turn this video camera around, and I just got a Facebook comment that said gig 'em. Gig 'em! And we will someone says they're gardening, or their tomatoes were splitting after a rain. Let me tell you why that happens. So if your tomatoes split after a rain, that means they were too dry before the rain. So what will happen when your tomato plant has fruit on the vine and all of a sudden your tomato plant gets stressed for water, what it's going to do is it needs water because it doesn't have enough moisture in the soil. It needs water to survive. Well, there's a lot of water in those fruits that are on the vine. So it will actually steal water from the tomatoes themselves whenever the plant gets too thirsty. And when that happens, the tomatoes will shrink or get smaller in size because they are pulling water from those fruit. And then after you deep water those plants or you get a rain, then they will swell back up in size and it'll cause them to split. So yeah, that's why that happens. I appreciate the kind words there, Chance. I'm used to it by now. All right, so we will check out some cool stuff back in the greenhouse. We actually found some bougainvilleas that were back in our grow facility and brought those back out. We were out of bougainvillea, but there are some more back on the floor now. If you're needing some summer color, we've got some good summer color right now. We've almost sold out of our caladiums that were half off. Hey, I appreciate the apology. We are selling down on a lot of lantana. We've been selling through those. I do want to peek in before I run out of time. These videos always go really fast. So before we get to 8:30, I want to come back here. Hopefully we keep internet signal when I walk back here to our production greenhouses. Hopefully it doesn't get too spotty. Yeah, YouTube is it's a whole other animal. Our viewers on Facebook are pretty kind by comparison. All right, so back here, these are their production greenhouses. Like I said, hopefully we don't drop signal back here. I don't have as strong of an internet signal. But you can see we've got our mums started back here. We're going to be growing about 5,000 mums this year. And they're getting them spaced out now. So eventually, all of those empty tables are going to be filled up. Someone said we're going to be getting some new varieties of crepe myrtles. There's always new varieties of crepe myrtles coming about. And we try to bring in as many new varieties as we can all the time, regardless of what type of plant they are. That's one of the things we love doing, is finding the new varieties. You will find some new varieties of mums this year and poinsettias as well. So yeah, we have our 8-inch pots of mums, which is the one that we grow the most of. And then we also have some 12-inch and 14-inch mums back here, which we started, I want to say we started these about 6 weeks ago. And you can see they're already starting to get some body to them. So this is what we want. We want them to get nice and big before they initiate their bloom cycle. So we're pushing them with some fertilizer right now. The warm weather is pushing them. And these ones are going to get really big. And then as soon as the daylight to darkness ratio gets right, that's what triggers these mums to start their bloom cycle. So that's kind of how we do it. And we'll have early season mums. We'll have early season, middle season, and late blooming mum varieties. We do all three here. So we'll have mums starting to bloom around mid-September. I would say mid to late September they'll start blooming. are early bloomers, and then we'll have others that are not gonna come into bloom until October or even late October into November. That way they'll be blooming for Thanksgiving. I think, sorry, the Facebook comments pop up on my screen and then they disappear. It sounds like someone was asking if their mums are blooming now, will they bloom again for fall? Yes, but what you need to do is, as soon as they're done blooming, you've got to cut them back, cut them in half. So cut the plant about halfway down, and then they'll come back and bloom again in the fall. So usually we say cut them back around 4th of July. They may have been delayed a little bit this year because of the cooler, wetter spring. So if you have mums as a perennial in the landscape, it would be a good idea to go ahead and cut them back now, or wait till they're done with their heaviest part of the blooms and then give them a trim, and they'll come back and bloom for fall. Yeah, someone else was commenting also that their mums have already bloomed. So if you live in the South, your mums will be a perennial, and they will usually bloom spring and fall because of the photoperiodism. So they bloom when the daylight to darkness ratio is correct, and it happens twice a year down in the South. So where we have about the same time of daylight to darkness will trigger them to bloom, like 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of darkness. So it happens in spring and then happens again in the fall. All right, so we're over in the perennials. We still have a lot of gorgeous heat-loving perennials out here. Lots of fun stuff to choose from. Some of the summer perennials are starting to bloom now. Echinacea, Echinacea, Rudbeckia, cannas, hardy hibiscus over there. Cannas are still half off, by the way, if you need some beautiful cannas in your life. Look at the size of the blooms on the Echinacea. If you missed my videos about these are a cross between Echinacea and Rudbeckia, which is why they're called Echinacea. And they're one of the cool new hybrids that's been out. We also have just the straight Rudbeckia. If you don't want the cross, we've got Rudbeckia, which is a great landscape performer. And then we do have some Echinacea back there as well. The firecracker bush are coming into bloom now. This is a great Texas native perennial that the hummingbirds love. So some people call it firecracker bush. Some people call it hummingbird bush. Some people call it flame acanthus. The Latin name is Anisacanthus. So it goes by many names, but this is a really good drought-tolerant, sun-loving perennial that'll bring the butterflies, hummingbirds, and bees to your yard. And it's tall. It gets like 3 to 5 feet tall. So if you need a taller perennial, that's a great one. Got a couple other fun perennials over here. This is pincushion flower. So it's got a really unique bloom, and then when it's done blooming, let's see if I can get this to focus. When it's done blooming, you get these little seed heads that have what looks like little pins sticking out of them. Good morning in Utah. This is a fun one too. This is Euphorbia, and this one's called Ascot Rainbow. So this is a good drought-tolerant, sun-loving perennial. And Euphorbia is the same family. It's a crazy family because this is the same family as poinsettias, actually. So these are related to poinsettias. But there are also tons of succulents and, cacti-like plants that are in the Euphorbia family too. So crown of thorns is one that you've probably heard of. But euphorbias are a really diverse family, probably one of the most visually diverse plant families out there. And this is a fun one that you can grow at home in a sun-loving spot. And it will bloom too in the fall. But I love the leaves on the Ascot rainbow. The pineapple lilies are blooming over there. I'll show you those. So these are another perennial that's very unique. Now they don't make a pineapple, but they call them pineapple because the tops of the bloom spikes look like a little pineapple. Look at that. And they bloom for a pretty long time as far as lilies go, because they start blooming from the base of the bloom stalk. Let me show you this one. So the flowers start opening up down here first. And then as that bloom stalk grows, these upper buds will bloom. So they bloom for like probably almost 2 months. They stay in bloom, which is really nice. And they've got that big bold foliage. But some fun stuff over. Oh, there's a butterfly on the pincushion flower. A little tiny butterfly. Thing's itty bitty. You getting some sun this morning? Butterflies really love the pincushion flower. Still got a lot of the native Texas lantana over here. That's a great one. Very, very drought tolerant plant there that the butterflies love also. Back in the annuals greenhouse, still have some good deals going on. Half off of the coleus if you're needing some summer color. We got restocked on periwinkles this week. We were out. Periwinkles obviously love the heat. So we got some whites, reds, and a few hot pink back there left. And we are, aside from growing plants, we're making plans for fall. So we're going to have some fun stuff going on this fall. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, if you're still needing some summer color, we've got options out there. And yes, we will be doing some events and classes this fall. Still got a lot of begonias on half off. Now, begonias are heat tolerant, but not full sun tolerant. So if you got a hot spot in the shade, obviously everywhere is going to be hot in August. So you can put these in a morning sun spot or a shady spot or a dappled sun spot. And those landscape begonias are going to do well for you. Angelonias and pentas over here love the heat. A lot of people don't really know about Angelonia, but they call these a summer snapdragon because they have a similar bloom structure to snapdragons. But they're not a snapdragon, they're Angelonia. And my customers that come in and buy Angelonia, they just love them because they're so heat tolerant and great. And they usually come back and get them every year. And then our pentas, of course, are another great heat lover. So they're called pentas because these blooms have 5 petals. Lots of fun stuff going on over here. Oh, and we haven't done the official unveiling yet, but Greg and Rick, but especially Greg, have been working on this wall, the community art wall, and it just got the final touches put on it. So these were painted by local artists, and we will be doing a official unveiling of the art wall soon so that you can come by and see it. Well, you can come by and see it anytime, but we've got these larger panels We've got these smaller panels. We have a big mural in the middle where you can take a picture. Everyone turn your phone sideways for a second. I don't know if this is going to work. But this is what your picture would look like if you stand here and take a picture in the art wall among the flowers. Okay, I'm going to go back to vertical now. So yeah, lots of amazing art from local artists that helped contribute to the wall. And it wraps around the corner here. I love these koi fish. So yeah, we are putting just the finishing trim pieces on here. We got one more panel to put up there, and then it'll be ready to unveil to the world. All right, I got time for just a couple more plants, and we're gonna get ready for our staff meeting. Got some Gerber daisies. This is a perennial Gerber daisy, Garvinia Gerber daisy. I've been seeing these in people's yards. I've been going on walks around the neighborhood, and a lot of people I've seen have put out these perennial Gerber daisies, and they're a really good, pretty reliable perennial around here if you get the Garvinia series of Gerber daisies, which are meant to be more cold tolerant. So a lot of times these are your regular Gerber daisies, which are not blooming at the moment, but your standard Gerber daisies a lot of times will be perennials, but sometimes they won't be. But that Garvinia series is actually quite reliable. The mandevillas are always cheerful in summer. This is a heat-loving vine. Now it's tropical, so it's not going to come back year to year, but those are awesome. Mandevillas, got quite a few. I got some double blooming. Now this is something confusing. When I was a newer gardener, I didn't know what double meant. I was like, what does a double blooming flower mean? Does it just mean it blooms twice as much? No, what it means is instead of having one layer of flower petals like this, doubles are going to either have more flower petals, or they're going to give you the illusion that they have more flower petals. Because sometimes it'll still be the same amount of petals, but they'll be, ruffly or frilly, so it looks like there's more petals. But in this case, this actually has more petals than the non-double variety. Got the new blue mandevilla, which is purple, I know, but they call it blue. It's bluish. And we got some creamy yellows over here, which are nice. So yeah, still got summer color. We have not transitioned to our fall color yet because we still have the dog days of summer ahead of us, where we're going to get into late July and August, and we know it's going to be super hot during that time. It's not anything out of the ordinary, so don't panic. We got this. Just remember to water your plants. We got plenty of moisture. We got plenty of water in the lakes right now. Got a lot of spring moisture. So we're used to this sort of thing around here. And actually this year has been quite mild compared to many other years. We still haven't hit 100 degrees yet here in Wichita Falls, though we got to 99 yesterday. So we're getting really close. But to be past mid-July and not in 100-degree temperatures yet, that is really wild for around here. So, well, all right. I appreciate everybody joining this morning. I hope to see you out here. If you're needing landscape projects done, stone, concrete, we're selling a lot of stone right now. People are working on hardscape. They're working on concrete projects, patios. We're selling a lot of concrete right now. So if you're needing concrete projects done, if you're needing hardscape done, stone, landscaping, come see us. We'll set you straight. Today would be a good day. All right, well, thanks for joining this morning. I'm going to sign off, and we will see you very soon, hopefully.